I'm Peggy Bunker, and this is Know It All, where the goal is to pull back the curtain and reveal the truth about what's actually in the products that you buy and where the food you're eating really comes from. And also the things you would never support if you only knew about them. As a former news journalist, I've really seen it all, but I couldn't always say it all until now. Our guests are experts who are single-handedly changing the world, and you can too, once you know. Okay, everyone, before we get started today, I wanted to ask you if you know what these ingredients in our food are. They're so common in the foods that we eat. So just a quick little list here. What is potassium bromate? Do you know what a propylparaben is? Do you know what BHAs and BHTs, butylated hydroxyensol and butylated hydroxytoluene? Do you know what those are? How about some delicious titanium dioxide? In the food industry, this is otherwise known as the very palatable E171. Yum. Bromated vegetable oil, or BVOs. And lastly, the famous and incredibly common sodium nitrate. Delicious. Yuck. Just all of it, right? Like just yuck. But you know what? These ingredients are in everything that we eat. And I assure you, there's no judgment here. I am 100% confident I've eaten pounds of everything I just said, especially the titanium dioxide. That is actually a whitening agent used in candy and various foods. I have a horrendous sweet tooth, and candy corn is the downfall. Those Fun Dip packets, the little white stick, is I think like 100% titanium dioxide. So no judgment coming from me. But our guest today, Jen Smiley, she would be disgusted by the things I've put in my body. I'm 100% sure of that. But she's here to help shoppers who don't want to eat this crap and want to know what it is. Jen founded Wake Up and Read the Labels. She's encouraged thousands of shoppers to read the ingredients for the love of God, for the sake of our health. She also founded an incredible Substack called The Label Letter. You should definitely check it out. You can find it at thelabelletter.com. It's got tons of information. It's like getting a PhD in eating. So you definitely want to check that out. I'm not a perfect eater. I eat junk sometimes. I eat junk a lot. Anyway, I have changed a few of the things I eat ever since talking to Jen. That's how good she is. She's got such fabulous information, especially when you're shopping. It's going to change what you buy and what you don't buy. So get ready to have your mind blown, everyone. Please meet Jen Smiley. You're the perfect person to talk to us about what is in the food that we are eating, the crazy ingredients that you have discovered in the grocery store, the outcome of eating some of this crap, the stuff we put in our bodies. And we really just appreciate you taking the time to lend us your expertise and tell us what you've been working on and what we should be eating, not eating, etc. So welcome to Know It All, Jen.
Thanks, Peggy. Hopefully our conversation today will help someone listening understand why they're tired or why they're bloated and discover what's the missing piece.
Absolutely. And you got into this because did you feel that way? You were quite young when you started doing this type of work. Were you exhausted even in your 20s?
Oh yeah, in my 20s. I tell people I had one pair of pants in my closet that fit. I was wearing a sports bra to the gym, hanging on by, one hook. I'm waking up every morning, looking in the mirror. I'm exhausted. I'm the girl in the workout class, taking a break, getting my inhaler. I'm 25 years old. I'm doing all these tests. I'm like, what's going on? I'm really young. Why am I here? Why am I overweight? Why am I exhausted? Why do I feel like I need to put on makeup right when I wake up just to look like a normal person?
Because you were saying you had like even some skin issues and you just felt kind of puffy and just unwell in general.
Yes. Very,
Okay.
very unwell.
And what was it that tied you to, okay, hold on, this is what I'm eating? I know you sort of had this aha moment discovering like a protein shake, which my
Yeah.
son used to drink those things all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very popular protein shake. What is the name
Premier.
of it? We can say,
Premier.
right?
Premier.
Premier protein.
Yeah.
And you get them at Costco and the kids have them at their schools. And you notice that the label on the back of this thing was like the dictionary. It was enormous.
Yes, it was wild. I was coming home from a workout class and I tell people like I felt the gray clouds come down. I felt my heart sink. I felt betrayed because this whole time I'm reading the front of packaging. I'm like, all right, I'm watching my carbs, I'm watching my protein, I'm watching my sodium. And then I was like, wait, what is carrageenan? What is sodium phosphate? Like what? So I ran home, opened my refrigerator, and I grabbed my coffee creamer, my bread, my salad dressing, the crackers, and I'm like, these same weird ingredients that I don't recognize are all over. And that's kind of what spiraled into the wake up mission, where I'd wake up every morning, go to groceries regionally, up and down the grocery aisles to find foods made with simple ingredients I could recognize.
And you started sharing this and these trips to the grocery store, sharing it with friends, and that kind of turned into having clients and helping people. How do you phrase it? Eat clean, get rid of the
Yeah.
crap, stop eat. Okay, how do you
I mean,
describe it?
so I used to tell people eating clean. And then a lot of people were like, they would get defensive. They're like, wait, are you telling me my food's dirty? Because they didn't really understand. And I'm like, no, it's just when you read your food labels, if you don't recognize an ingredient, neither does your body. So I think Americans today, especially America, and we can get into that, but we have lost where our food actually comes from and what actually is food. And so it's all about just getting back to the basics and finding foods made with simple ingredients.
It's not the same food that our parents ate. Like I've had discussions with people and they're like, I grew up on Wonder Bread. My mom fed me an Eggo waffle every day of my life. The Eggo waffle, the Wonder Bread of 1975, is really different than the Wonder Bread and Eggo waffle of today. Tell us a bit about that.
I like to first of all tell people that in the 1990s, there was on average 7,000 grocery items at the general supermarket. And then today, in 2026, there's over 56,000 products at your general supermarket. So 100 years ago, I think they say like 90% of the chronic diseases didn't even exist. And so that you have to start thinking like we've lost this connection between food and health. It is connected. And there's this loophole that a lot of the food companies go through. So when a food company wants to put a new ingredient in their food, they go hire their own scientists to deem it as generally recognized as safe, GRAS, and then they don't have to go through the FDA to get it approved. It's like this crazy loophole that America has allowed. America allows up to 10,000 additives in our food. So, sure, people could be eating too much sugar, too much carbs, too much sodium, total fat, things like that. But the real problem is these ingredients that have extended shelf life of products. Also, it's a lot of these ingredients that give it the mouth taste feel. So a lot of these companies are always trying to cut their cost. They are, they're almond milks. They're using only 2% of the total volume of almonds, but they're using these emulsifiers and these fillers and these gums that are much cheaper, these chemicals, to give you that mouth taste feel. So, one, they can keep the price down, but two, it makes the stuff addictive and it makes you drink more, it makes you eat more, it makes you sick.
But go back real quick to what you said. A lot of the ingredients and the additives that are legal in the United States are completely banned in other countries. We eat stuff in breakfast cereals that we give our children that other countries would not dream of allowing into the public marketplace.
It's wild. It is
It
insane.
is wild.
So there's things out there. One's called TBHQ. I know it's definitely banned in Japan, and it's in our Reese's, so our kids are eating it. There's a few more. I don't know them offhand because they really are these like very strange scientific names. And in fact, the food companies just changed colors. Like before you would see like red 40. Now it's like I have to go look it up. But again, it's some science. It's like brilliant red or brilliant blue. Like they're changing the names now because they know consumers are becoming aware of this.
Becoming more like yellow, what is it, number 5, red dye
Yep.
number 40,
Yep.
yellow number 5. Well, California is, we're here in California. Where are you based?
I am in New Orleans, Louisiana.
New Orleans. Oh, I
Mhm.
thought I heard a little twang there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a
You
little
hear
bit of something.
something.
Well, sometimes when you say your name too, Jen, I hear Gin. I hear
Mhm.
Jen. I'm like, that's got to be a Southern thing. I like it.
It's very
Yeah, I love it. The state here in California, and I think it's going to, many others will follow suit, something like Skittles.
titanium dioxide.
It's disgusting. First of all, I've eaten my share of Skittles. That used to be my meal of choice. I have had many a bag of Skittles. But other countries say this is a completely toxic food
Mhm.
and it is outlawed, many of the ingredients in other countries. It is going to be phased out here in California. I do hope that other states will follow suit. Do you find that this is sort of a burgeoning wave, like other states are becoming more aware?
I think for sure. So the longest time, this gets me into the news. The longest time big media controlled the narrative, right? And so I like to tell people when I first started during COVID, the news, local news they used to call me a lot. They wanted me on. They wanted me to show people how to cook Thanksgiving recipes and talk about how to get healthy for the new year. And one time I was showing them how to cook sweet potato casserole for Thanksgiving. And I had a bottle of Aunt Jemima syrup and a real bottle of maple syrup. And I was like, hey, you guys, open your pantry. If you have Aunt Jemima, read the labels. It is a bunch of fake inflammatory ingredients. Throw it out. Get real maple syrup. Well, somebody like bust out through the break room. This lady had said she's got the belt on, everything. She's like, stop, stop, cut. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, Aunt Jemima is our sponsor. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
yeah. So then I get interviewed by Oprah Daily, Town and Country. I got a big PR company, so they were going to help me out and get all these big interviews. I get on a call. The people conducting the interviews love what I do. They follow me, they do it themselves, but they can't get me on their platform because I
right.
am telling the readers not to consume what's being sponsored, right? So, with that being said, is California kind of making a wave in these states? Yes and no. Yes, they're doing it, but I think that this grassroots way, like podcast, Instagram, YouTube, things that are in people's pockets and not being controlled by big media is helping the message spread much quicker and get people educated. But I think at the end of the day, it's really, really, really difficult to find clean foods when you're bombarded, especially with children, by so many fake foods. It's hard.
I 100% agree. In fact, having worked in the news, there's many times I've had to change a story, and it is the media's job. It is our job as journalists. When I used to be in broadcast news, we did occasionally, they would say, can we make this a story that's more about health safety versus like, I would always want to do animal welfare stories. We would kind of have to turn it into a food safety thing. But it is a journalist's job and any media outlet's job to say, give you the facts. That is the number one job, is to give you the facts. And it shouldn't matter who the sponsor is. But I've definitely run into that before where you have to be careful. And Aunt Jemima, which, how do you say it? It's adorable. How do you say Aunt Jemima?
I say
What do you
Aunt
say?
Jemima.
Aunt
Aunt
Jemima.
Jemima.
Oh my God, I'm in love with this. Aunt Jemima, what we call it's caramel color and corn syrup, right? Or it's just
Yeah,
a,
that's like 2 out of the 12 ingredients.
okay. And maple syrup is maple syrup from a tree.
Yeah,
They
just
boil it
one
and
ingredient.
put it in the bottle. It's
Yeah.
one ingredient. So when you started doing this work, then getting out there and getting the message out there, you've been met with resistance.
Oh, for sure. I have had to learn, though, to tell people and myself that you need to be a light tower and not a tugboat. Because in the beginning, I'm like, oh, that's why you're tired. That's why you're bloated. That's why you have skin issues. That's why you're going to the doctor. And I realized that that's not the way you approach this. And what I started doing, I started with private clients, started with like one, and then within 3 months, I had 60. And I'm making meal plans for everyone, recipes, texting all day, telling them what they can eat, what they can't eat. But I tell people that when you walk into a room and your skin is glowing and you're happy and you have energy, then people come to you and they say, hey, what are you doing? They're more open about the conversation. Or if you go to a party and you look, I always tell people that if you feel good, you look better. So when you're looking good, they're walking up to you and they're like, "Hey, I'll try your dip you brought, or I'll try the cocktail you brought." And then that's a very good gateway to help those around you.
I completely agree. And it does start with what you're eating. Give us sort of, so your top, can you give us your top three foods that when you go to the grocery store, we think they're healthy? Maybe it's like a pasta, maybe it's a sauce, maybe it's a condiment, something that we're eating in the store that you feel like if people knew, our topic of our podcast here, title, Know It All. We want people to know it all. A lot of people just think this is what I've always eaten. This is what my mom bought. Here's why it's different. What, like off the top of your head? I always think Skittles because that got rated as like the most
Skittles.
toxic non-food on the planet. But what do
Yeah.
you think?
I mean, I always go to oatmeal. I go to oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
I go to
Did not
soy.
see that coming.
Oatmeal.
Okay.
I'm thinking
Oatmeal.
of like things that I mean, I put a lot of content out there, so I know what gets the highest engagement. And oatmeal is always just like mind blowing to people. So I'll do oatmeal, I'll do soy, and then I always really just like to cover dairy. I think it's very important.
Yeah. Dairy.
Yeah. So as far as oatmeal goes, oats are high in omega 6s. The standard American diet has too many omega 6s. We want more omega 3s. Omega 3s is more of the Mediterranean diet, right? Your avocado oil, your fish, um, sardines, things like that. That is anti inflammatory. So first of all, it has a lot of omega 6s. Second of all, a lot of the oats out there in soy, which we'll get into, is sprayed with glyphosate, which is that horrible pesticide. It's destroying gut barriers. It's leading to chronic diseases. It's also contributing to an increased risk of cancer. So a lot of people are eating that without even knowing it. Also,
Isn't that in Roundup? Sorry to interrupt. Isn't that
yep, that
Roundup?
is
It's
Roundup.
it's like literal. It's ground. It's like life. That's like what you spray on your
Yep,
lawn to get
yep,
rid of the weeds,
yep,
and it's being sprayed on
yep.
the oats. And then, by the way, if you don't really eat oatmeal, you do oat milk, which I don't drink dairy, so I do a lot of oat milk.
Hmm.
But then it's in your oat milk. I got
Yep.
one of those things. Little side note: the cow press
Almond
thing,
cow.
the almond cow. Do you use that
Yeah,
thing? I love
I've
it.
been having
Yeah,
that
I make my
very long
own. I
time.
mean, I'm just going to stop shaving and wear Birkenstocks. I'm going all crunchy now, but I
I
dig
love
it.
it.
I make
Yeah,
my own almond milk and there's
it's
no
great.
pesticides. I get the good oats, but okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Side
So
note.
so 1 Degree Farmer makes glyphosate-free oats. But I like to tell people if you are bloated, you're overweight, if you're eating breakfast and you feel like you're hungry 3 hours later and you're starting with oatmeal, that's why oats spike your blood sugar as much as eating a bowl of ice cream. So you have to know that you want your blood sugar to stay stable throughout the day. That makes you not tired, that makes you not hungry. When your blood sugar goes up, it's got to drop down. And when it drops, that's when you get hungry and tired. So oats spike your blood sugar a ton. Oats are very high in omega 6s, so they're pro inflammatory. So I always tell my kids, I'd rather you eat a bowl of grass fed ice cream because it has really good fats, it has good nutrition, good vitamins, and it's going to spike your blood sugar even a little less. It has really good fats than the oats.
What if you get the really good, triple expensive, yada yada, organic steel cut oats, like the really good quality oats?
I don't think steel cut really matters, but I tell people wear a glucose monitor and see what it does. You'd be surprised. Also, oats I think are very bloating. They bloat you. I tell people what happens when you put oats in water. They bloat. They expand. In my and I always let people know my way isn't for everyone, right? The mountaintop is health. There's many ways to get to the mountaintop. You have to go with what works for you. So if somebody's eating oats and they're coming to me and telling me I'm tired, I'm hungry all the time, dealing with autoimmune, I'm bloated, I say, well, guess what? Let's swap the oats out. There's something called Wella. There's something called Note Meal. You could eat grain free cereal. Try that. And if you all of a sudden now you go to your closet after you eat and your pants fit a little looser, you're staying fuller longer, you're able to lose some weight finally, well, oats were holding you back.
Yeah, no, it used to be the thing. I feel like there was like a huge push into oats
Oh, yeah,
a while ago that was
and I could go
major.
oh, yeah, I can go on and on. Oprah invest in Oatly, that's why you see it on bus billboards and you see it, sponsored at big games.
But it's got all the gums in it, which bums me out. That's why I sort of so I mean, yeah, it's heartbreaking to break up with those oat milks and my coffee mate, which is just like a big thing of toxic
Oh, yeah.
nonsense. It was
Yeah.
like my favorite. I knew it wasn't real food, but I did love it. My vanilla
It's
coffee mate.
addictive.
It's
Oh, for sure.
RIP. Yeah,
How
I
how
mourn
it
it
yeah.
every morning.
So if anybody's out there, I would do either 1 Degree Farmers glyphosate free organic oats. If you're going to do oat milk, you can either do it in the almond cow. You can drink milk oat milk. You can do Three Trees alt milk, oat milk. You could do Elmhurst oat milk. Those are literally just oats and water.
Oatly, not Oatly. What about
No,
Oatly?
no, definitely not Oatly.
Oatly's got and Chobani vanilla
Oh,
oat milk.
Chobani. Nope, I wouldn't do
The worst.
This is what I tell people. I always say if America's doing it, It's not good for you. Unfortunately, so if it's on the end cap, if you go to the grocery and you open up the refrigerated section and you see Oatly and Chobani have 3 rows and they have 6 columns and they're at eye level, well, guess what? They paid to be there. They're paying per SKU number. They are mass produced. They're not good. Look at people's grocery carts. Like I hate to say it, but look, they people are exhausted. America is obese and they're all buying the same stuff. So if you want to feel different, you got to grocery shop different. You got to eat different. You got to find different. So you have to look for stuff at the very bottom. You have to look at stuff at the very top. And they're going to have 1 or 2 rows because that's all they produce.
Yeah, it's like putting sand in your gas tank, right? Like what you fuel yourself with is how you're going to feel. And I would say I feel like the word exhausted is almost it's so overused, but I feel like everyone has a lot of exhaustion. We're in a
Oh,
tumultuous time, but
oh,
I do
yeah.
feel like there is a physical tiredness that I feel like didn't totally exist before.
Yep.
And do you think that that is going back to like what other countries eat and what Americans eat? And I feel like other countries laugh at us because we just have such a massive health issue here. But do you think that it really is our food sources and what's allowed to be on our grocery shelves? Because some of it doesn't even resemble food. It
Right.
doesn't even, it's a bizarre color, it's a bizarre shape. If you look at a video of how McNuggets are made or any chicken nuggets, any frozen, it is one of the grossest things I've ever seen. But half of our kids eat these things on the daily.
Oh, yeah. We normalize all this.
Right. So how do you like it's like taking on an I mean you look at an entire grocery store, how on earth where do you even begin to
Yeah.
know what to
So
buy?
I read once that the number one reason people book doctor appointments is because of fatigue. Like that's why most people are going to the doctor, which is wild. I don't know the statistic, but it's a ton where Americans are suffering from insulin resistance and their blood sugars are being tricked by all this food. And I mean, if you think about it, they have so many energy drinks out there. Starbucks on every corner was not a thing like 30 years ago, right? Everywhere you go, everybody needs coffee. Then they need another coffee. They need energy drinks, every snacks. Like I have young kids. I get so furious when I go to their school and it's like snack time all the time. And I see the stuff these kids are eating. And I'm like, children don't need to snack. They need a good breakfast that keeps them full all day. This whole 3 meals a day is also laughing stock. The reason that we believe we need 3 meals a day, the food industry created that. This is, the greatest part of your day is breakfast. No, actually should not be hungry when you wake up. Your blood sugar should be stable. And if you're not hungry when you wake up, then that means you have really good insulin and you're able to have a you need balanced blood sugar.
Yeah, it's the messages. It's definitely the messages, but it's incredible how many decades they've hung on for. I think the cereal industry sort of started breakfast and orange juice, the orange juice industry. Many people have zero appetite in the morning, and you really don't need to eat breakfast. If I eat breakfast, I have no energy by 2 o'clock. I never eat breakfast. I
Right.
probably don't eat till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I otherwise I'm totally tanked.
Yeah.
But same with like milk. Like milk, it does a body good. That's just advertising. It's just advertising. And if we talk about dairy a little bit, you said dairy is one of the things you really look out for. Why?
Yeah, well, dairy's in everything. It's not just milk, right? It's your yogurt, it's your cheese, it's desserts, it's in sauces, it's everywhere. And I always tell people you are what your cow eats. That kind of helps them understand exactly what they're consuming. So you got to think about this. Most milk out there is coming from cows who get no sunlight, get no exercise, and have poor nutrition. Now, back that up to a human being. If you give a human being horrible food. They don't see any sunlight and they're just like stuck around a bunch of other sick people without getting any exercise. What kind of human being is that going to be, right? This would be a very sick one. Anything that outputs from them is going to be sick. That is how the cows are now. So it's so important to figure out quality of your milk. And again, if it's a big brand and it's everywhere, it's not going to be high quality. America has lost its sense of getting local foods. They talk about the whole make America healthy again. I love to tell people the only way America's getting healthy is if you get local again. Google search local farmer near me. Find out, do you have raw milk? Do you have, low pasteurized milk? That's going to retain a lot of the nutrition, the enzymes that help you break down that milk. And also you want to make sure that you're finding cows with that are in the sun, that are happy, that are healthy and getting a very good diet, like with grass.
Couldn't agree more. And sometimes grass fed. I don't know if people. We should do an episode on grass fed. But grass fed. Sometimes you'll see cows just lined up inside the barn where they live and never get to leave, and they're just dumping grass in the trough in front of them. It's not like they're in a green pasture. Whenever I see cows out on a green pasture, I always say happy cows, because it's these days it's really quite unusual to see that. And if you saw the insides of these barns where they live, it's quite distressing. Can we talk a little bit about yogurt? What do you think about yogurt? Because I
Yeah.
always try that. It feels like there's a lot of just junk out there that we grew up on, same labels, and now it's just full of just processed crap. So,
Oh
what do you
yeah.
think about yogurt?
Like Yoplait. I had a guy on
Ye-
my podcast that worked for Yoplait, and he said one day he was in the marketing room and they're like, we know how we're going to sell more Yoplait. We're going to slap a mermaid on it, put it lower so the kids see it, and we're going to sell more. But if you look at like Dannon Light and Fit yogurt, it is non-fat milk. And so what are these cows eating? They're eating GMO corn and soy that makes them fat to produce more stuff. Corn and soy are going to make the cow fat, which ultimately will make us fat. And then they're putting artificial flavors. So when you taste like real yogurt with real strawberries in there, it has this kind of refreshing taste. When you taste yogurt where they're putting artificial strawberry in there, it like really amplifies the taste. And it's like, whoa, a brain explosion. I'm looking
Like a
at this.
starburst,
Yep.
like you're having a starburst, but it's a
Yep.
yogurt.
It's also got acesulfame, potassium, sucralose. These are artificial sweeteners that have been linked to increased risk of cancer, type 2 diabetes, modified food starch, potassium sorbate. Like, this is not real food.
And very few people can even say the words. I'm impressed.
Oh,
You've got them down. I know you talk about them a lot. So to not totally bum everybody out, because it gets overwhelming. And
does.
already grocery shopping when you're trying to feed your kids at home, it's already overwhelming. And these days, a lot of people, if you can do it, you do it on Instacart. If you're a working mom, or if you go yourself, it's daunting. And once again, you have that brand recognition of something you grew up on, but it's not necessarily the same ingredients. So it's time to shift and really get conscientious about it. So you developed an app for this where
Hmm.
people can use this app as they're shopping. How is it quick? Because like I just think about myself, like maybe my daughter and the dog's in the car and I've got 10 minutes to run in and grab something. Like I don't have time to stand there and look at it. So how does it work and is it efficient for parents?
Yep. So if you go to your App Store or the Android Google Play Store, you just download Read the Labels app and there's a scan button. You press it. I don't have the it's just me right now. I don't have a food label, but you just
Yeah.
scan an item and it instantly lights up. It'll tell you if it's clean, kind of clean, or not clean. And then the bad ingredients are highlighted in red. So if you're curious, you can click it and read why it's clean or not. And then it'll have the clean swaps underneath it. So say you're scanning a Dannon Light and Fit yogurt, it's going to flash and be like, no, it's not clean. But beneath it, it'll give you all the clean options. That way you can kind of look around at the
Oh, that's
grocery.
helpful.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
see if you can find one. And you don't
Because you are
even
a mom. You get
Yep.
this, right? You have little kids.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I always tell people starting a clean eating journey, it's education and it's time in the beginning, but it's similar to buying a new house. Like when you buy a new house, you might need a new rug, you might need new curtains, you might need a new sofa, you might need a new, rack in the bathroom or something. You're not always going to have to do this, but you got to go look for it. You got to know where it is and find it. Same thing for clean food. Once you find the clean yogurt and once you find the clean milk and the clean bread and the clean oatmeal, like you've learned new behavior. You know exactly where it is in the grocery. You know exactly what to look for.
It's emotional though, Jen. What like some people say, but this is the thing I remember eating as a kid. This is the like I just was reading the other day. Maybe it was on your researching, talking to you. The Nutty Buddy. Like I used to love those things, and they're saying like they did a microscopic picture of inside like the Nutty Buddy ice cream, and there's all these particulate matter that look like bits of plastic, even like little bits of metal. There was all kinds of crazy stuff in these Nutty Buddies. Or who could forget the Walmart ice cream sandwich. Remember that when that story, the kid left it on the table in the summertime and the mom went
Mm,
out half an hour later and it hadn't melted and the
yeah.
mom was
Oh, yeah.
freaking out like, what is in this thing?
Oh, yeah.
It's what do you
You
do about that emotional component when it's a brand, it's a memory, it's very ingrained in
Yeah.
identity, what we
Yeah.
eat.
So, I have to admit, like, there's some people out there that just they can't break up with it. It's an addiction. You have to want change. You have to see the problem as well. So for a lot of people, they may be kind of alerted that the food is poisonous, but they really haven't been educated. There's nothing out there educating people on what these ingredients do to them. And it's normalized. So it's very complicated to overcome.
And what is the, for you personally, what's been the biggest, I'm sure you have eye-opening moments all the time doing this kind of work and you're in the grocery store filming videos for your Instagram, which is also super informative. I encourage everybody to take a look at that and we'll put your Instagram also in the show notes. But what do you discover when you talk to people or when you counsel clients, the feedback that you're getting about doing this work?
You mean when I'm at the grocery wait,
Well, sometimes you go to the grocery store, you'll open it, you'll hold up a product on your Instagram, you'll be
yeah.
like this. I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
videos. Yeah,
Yeah.
when like do people come up and you're always wearing your smiley outfit, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
I think is
Do I
great.
get do I get spotted? Yes.
And do people say why does it matter? I think if somebody who doesn't care, they want to eat what they why does it matter that we pay attention to this?
So when people do spot me, it's usually fans who are like, "Oh my god, you've changed my life. I love this. This is so good." Um, People on the internet, if we're talking about that, when I'm showing this stuff, I would say that me amongst maybe 10 others, we're pioneers in this and we're getting a lot of arrows thrown at us. People that don't see it have not felt the effects of real food yet. And so that I always say people have to have a wake up moment. And that's the moment when they really see what's happened to the food and they really see the connection between food and health. So until that
Got it.
moment, people think I'm crazy.
And then to wrap up too, I know we've talked a lot about just adult shopping and buying stuff and what we put in our own bodies. But what about our kids? Because I feel like personally, I'm a bit lenient with like the goofy stuff that my kids buy. We've gone through like the airhead stage. My daughter's in a gummy snake stage at the moment, which,
Oh,
all just the most bizarre nastiness on the
yeah,
label. As a parent, should I be putting my foot down on that? Or
yeah.
what
Okay.
do you say to parents?
Yeah. So I always tell parents that kids never fail to repeat what you do. They don't listen to what you say, but they listen to what you do. So it has to start with you. So if a parent, lets it slide themselves and is eating junk food and not taking initiative about their health, the kid's going to repeat what you're doing. The other thing I tell people is that if you don't teach your kid the right way, society is going to teach them the wrong way. And that's the system's built for that. The system's built to hire nutritionists and to go to the doctor and read your nutrition facts. And like, I mean, even the labels are like that, right? 99% of the label says vegan, non GMO, gluten free, no colors added. The nutrition facts are big. The ingredients are tiny. You have to teach a child, hey, look, that food is made with fake ingredients. You also have to teach a child what exactly these foods are doing to them. So, sure, my kids think I'm crazy, but they also know that, wait, mom's on to something. Like, we don't get as sick and we feel well rested and I'm not making bad grades. I'm not getting in trouble. I'm like, hey, that's because you get good sleep and you eat good food. So, I'm always encouraging and letting them know, like, what's going on. But I also think if someone is starting to let their kids or wants their kids to eat food, one, you start with you, but then start with things they like. So pancakes, waffles, brownies, cookies, like things that are indulgent. The kid will never know the difference. And then lastly, when control what you can control. So control the breakfast at your house, control the dinner at your house. But if you got to go to a birthday party, we'll let them eat the cake from Costco. Let them, at a sporting event, get the Airhead and the Powerade. You don't want to be too restrictive. And that's kind of where I stand. It's like, all right, if we're out, sure, you can get that. I'm going to let you know an hour later why your stomach hurts and why you need another snack. I'm going to remind you of that. But I would say my children are like 95% clean and we just let the other 5% slide. That's what
Yeah.
all you can
And
do. Do
and
more
the
good.
cake The cake from Costco is really good. I'm just going to say, and if you go to one party a year and there's a cake from Costco, it's like, I get it, but it is, you do
Yeah.
eat it and you're like, there's nothing in here that's good for me, especially that
Oh,
frosting.
that
I
label is
it's horrific. I make my kids'
horrific.
birthday cakes every single year. I make their birthday cakes. This is so helpful, and I feel like there's 100 other side topics that we could get into. And so I would love to have you back, Jen. And thank you for this work that you're doing, because we really have evolved to this place where we are eating the most unbelievable chemical concoctions of bizarreness. It's not even food. You can't call it food. And I agree with you that it's really making us sick and tired, and changing our fuel means feeling a lot better. So it starts with just the information so we can make those better choices. The app, we're going to link up your app and also your newsletter on Substack. Tell us real quick, just before you sign up, where we can get that.
Yeah, if you go to thelabelletter.com, then you'll get an email from me almost daily with just tips, how to eat clean, swaps, and recipes.
I love it. I'm on it, signing up right away. Jen Smiley, thank you so much for your incredible work. So fun talking to you, and I hope we get to have you back on again.
Of
Appreciate it.
course. Nice talking to you,
All right.
Peggy. Thanks.
You as well. If you liked what you heard, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really liked what you heard, please leave us a rating and a review. Know It All is a production of Peggy Bunker Media. Editing, producing, and recording is done by the team at Resonate Recordings. I'm Peggy Bunker, and now you know it all.
Resonate.